doing pointing, ups and downs. Are you ready?
Well, we're recording.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Longbox Guys. With me, as always, are some of my very best friends since I was a very little kid. Mike, Manny, how you doing, and what are you drinking?
I'm doing fine, and I'm drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper because I'm on a shit ton of medicine right now.
That is awesome. Josh, how are you doing, my friend, and what are you drinking?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm about to try a new beer from Evil Genius, and it is called Stacy's Mom.
Ooh, I hear that.
Nice.
Ooh.
It's a Citra IPA, and you haven't tried Stacy's Mom yet. We've been brewing this Citra hopped IPA for years, and she ain't no basic bitch. All right.
My mom is not a basic bitch.
So we're about to give this a shot right now.
Let's see the face, maybe it's good or bad. Mason jar. All right. Looking good.
It's okay.
It's okay, folks.
Hey, my mom is okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Not going to kill anyone. It's okay.
The C+ of adjectives.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, how you doing? What are you drinking?
I'm doing okay. I am drinking some Suntory whiskey tonight.
Ooh,
how are you doing, Tommy? What are you drinking?
I'm doing all right. I'm drinking a glass full of scotch. There it is right there. It's delicious. My wife poured it for me. My ice cubes are kind of melted. I just noticed that right next to me is also I have lube and super glue, and they look the same. You know why? Because I like to live dangerously. I'm right there together. I should not do that. Stacy, how are you doing and what are you drinking?
I'm doing great. I am drinking water out of the head of Plastic Frankenstein's monster.
Plastic Frankenstein's monster, a classic monster, a character that'll live through the ages. Not speaking of which, this week we're talking about Cosmonut because Tommy wanted to. Cosmonut is
I love Cosmonut.
Oh, for the love of God. This is going to be a Tommy heavy episode, so if you guys want to tune out now, that's fine. Tommy!
So there's hardly anything written about Cosmonut because there's hardly any comics with Cosmonut in it. As far as I can tell, the earliest appearance of Cosmonut seems to be Suicide Squad Volume 5, The Black Vault, number 4, Beat on the Brat.
You are correct.
And
Cosmonut, for those people that don't know. What?
Who created this atrocity?
I don't know.
Well, I looked that up. I'm going to upgrade this a little bit. Man, the bouquet is pretty nice.
All right, keep going, Tommy.
Josh likes it before he drinks it.
Yeah. I got my nose in there. Gave some time. Really nice.
It was written by Rob Williams and penciled by Jim Lee with inks by Scott Williams and Jonathan Glampon.
All right, so people who don't know what Cosmonut is or even looks like, you're going to have to, just saying where you've seen him doesn't do him justice. What does he look like?
Cosmonut is a Russian character. He is a person with a giant claw hammer for a head. And his superpower is that he can hit people with his giant claw hammer of a head.
Really hard.
And really hard.
Really hard.
And mostly when he talks a peanut.
Harder
he has no words in his word bubble. It is just a peanut.
Imagery.
He's mostly misunderstood.
Totally misunderstood.
And about how many issues does he appear in?
Probably about a dozen Suicide Squad issues. But he does kind of, he is pretty effective against General Zod. He does have a pretty hard hit against General Zod and in some of those Suicide Squad issues. So he is a formidable character if he can get up close and hit them with his head.
Hits like a hammer.
So do we know
like
how
a metaphorical hammer.
Yeah. A metaphorical hammer would be cool.
That hits Zod really hard. Like harder than you think. Like we've seen Zod get hit, and then you see him get hit, and you think, that was harder than I thought.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Do we know how he got his powers?
No.
Do we know why he's a Russian guy who got shot into space in the first place?
No.
Do we know why he talks in a language that could be just described as the drawing of a peanut in a in a word bubble?
I don't.
Good talking to you,
he
Tommy.
just hasn't found the right writer yet.
I
Who's
think
the
he
right
needs
writer,
more-
Mr.
character
Peanut?
Stanley.
Stanley. Planters?
All right. You guys are not
Flush
giving this
Carter?
character. This character is a character that is so underused, but he is perfect. He is the chair-faced Chippendale of the Suicide Squad.
Certainly a close cousin.
A character that when you see him, you forever will know who Cosmonut is. And when he has the interactions with the other members of the Suicide Squad, you can't really tell because the letterer for this comic just would draw a little peanut, right? And so you never know if that's just the letterer giving up and just saying this is some sort of foreign language, or this is Russian, or this is just the language that this thing speaks.
He's kind of like the Groot of the Suicide Squad because he just says peanut, but people seem to understand what he says.
But he doesn't say peanut.
Well, he just has that picture of a peanut in his word bubble, but people seem to understand what he says.
Yeah, he's like the hieroglyphics of the entire squad. Like he doesn't really say anything, but somehow he manages to communicate through some kind of imagery, which we can't determine whether or not it's verbal or some other effect of his power. Personally, I like to think of it as sort of a static symbol. They're just the emanating repercussions of his hammer strike against people. Those sound waves give people some sort of interpretation as to Cosmonut's meaning. And all of this is utter and total bullshit, but I just like saying something in this podcast without knowing nothing about this character.
No, that is actually a very possible explanation of what's going on because we really get no explanation.
None.
I love the fact that people react to what he quote unquote says when really we have no idea if they're just pretending they understand what he says because a lot of the members of the Suicide Squad are insane. So Harley Quinn having a conversation with a guy who doesn't speak any English but pretends to know what he's referring to makes total sense. He was a bad guy, kind of, when he originally appeared, although he's more like a member of the Russians' version of the Suicide Squad. If you want to see what he looks like, good luck trying to Google Cosmonut because Google will constantly say, "You mean Cosmonaut?"
Cosmonaut.
No, fuck you, Google. I do not mean Cosmonaut.
That's what that's what quotations are for, people.
And let me also add that trying to find like a background or Wikipedia is fruitless because if you put Cosmonut DC Suicide Squad, you just get a list of issues that he's been in and pretty much nothing else. You do find a few images if you do that, but that's about it.
And why are we talking about him? Because we are on a Suicide Squad kick. And also, this is LT's favorite member of the Suicide Squad because he should be a member of the stupid supervillains and why we love them. Speaking of which, you're going to be doing that presentation at Pensacon, right, Tom?
I will be. Josh, thank you for putting that up as your background, by the way. If anybody's watching us on YouTube, you can see that Josh just put that up on his background, what this fellow looks like. Very nice. Yeah, I will be doing Stupid Supervillains and that we love at Pensacon coming up. Cosmonut did not make the cut because I don't love him. But before we move on to talk about other things, there's one other question I wanted to talk about, and that is there's a slight similarity to this character and a character I really do love, which is Andy the Android. I don't really see any similarities between them except they're both got a square black head, and they're both nonverbal. Andy the Android probably communicates through telepathy. That's been heavily implied sometimes, but we don't know for certain. Does anyone see that at all, or is it just me being crazy?
I think that's just you being crazy.
It's
I
you
mean,
being crazy.
yeah, all right. I think you're diminishing Cosmonut. Uh, because I love Andy the Awesome Android as much as the next guy, but Cosmonut has the potential to be an amazing character. And I thought he was really good in the Suicide Squad. That run of the Suicide Squad is not great.
Yeah.
But Cosmonaut
No, it's
is
not.
by far the best part of that run of Suicide Squad.
Damn it, you're going to make me read this run, aren't you? You're
I
tempting me.
mean,
So you haven't
kind
even
of
read
worth
this,
it.
have you, Tom? So we really don't know the joy that is Cosmonut.
I wish my eyes emitted lasers that could kill over Skype sometimes, Tom.
Don't
this kind of
comic shame him, LT.
but I haven't read it, and Cosmonut never really seemed like something that hooked me. But you know, I'll give it a shot.
He will. I mean, I say it's not a great series because Suicide Squad is basically a lead-in for a Superman story. Like the whole thing where, spoiler for anybody who does plan on reading all 8 or 9 or 12 issues of Cosmonut, it all centers around General Zod and General Zod becoming a member sort of the Suicide Squad. I am really surprised Cosmonut survived his encounter with Zod.
He's tough.
That's the most amazing thing
I
of
mean,
all.
he got a couple of good hits on Zod without really sustaining any damage.
And Zod felt it.
And Zod felt it.
That was the most important thing.
He affected
Like anyone can get
Zod.
a shot on Zod because Zod just wants to stand there and take it. But
Yeah.
Cosmo actually hit him, and Zod was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Did that guy with the hammerhead just hit me? I think I felt something. This isn't gonna go well for him." And of course, it doesn't.
It did not.
Which implies that Cosmonut could stagger Superman.
Yeah.
I think in
Bring it
James
down.
Gunn's next Suicide Squad, we might see Cosmonut.
That would be beautiful. I mean,
That would be cool.
visually, he is an elegant character, right? Like he's an interesting character to look at.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, elegant from a comic book perspective, not.
Yeah.
He's not a ballet dancer. He's not in the Russian ballet, but he's a character where you're like, oh, that's intriguing and different, and I don't understand what's going on, but I'm happy to look at it as long as it's interesting. And which is the same situation we get from King Shark in the new movies for people who are not familiar with the Suicide Squad or King Shark, right? So you see sort of like the first admixture of the new trailers for the movies, and King Shark, you're like, if you saw the first movie and you had any interest in the ending or that it was ever going to happen again, and you see the new one, you see King Shark, you're like, I like sharks. That guy looks cool. That's the Cosmonaut vibe, right? He gets the people who aren't reading every comic or are trying to root out every little nugget they can get from comic books, right? So you see him on screen and you see him ding Superman in the face and Superman feel it. You're like, that dude with the hammer face, he just dinged Superman. I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah. And let me say one other thing about Cosmonut as a positive. Artists challenging themselves to draw somebody to put such expression on the faces that a non-verbal character can communicate what he's feeling is a big challenge. And I think the artist who does the Suicide Squad, and I forgive me for not knowing his name, but I think he does a really good job on Cosmonut of expressing feelings on a flat face like that. And the only other thing I could think of like that in comics is Jericho from the Teen Titans. George Perez purposely wanted to challenge himself, so he created a nonverbal character so that his artwork would have to reflect the character's emotions at all times, making it more vivid. And also wreaking havoc with every artist who followed him, trying to do that, because George Perez is just a fucking phenomenal artist and could do that. Which is probably why Jericho's never been any good since George Perez's run on the Titans.
Yeah.
That's true. I did love that part of that character in Jericho.
Yeah, I mean, so in the first appearance of Cosmonut was Jonathan Glampon, but there's been other artists since then. But yeah, I mean, it is hard to make facial expressions on a flat surface.
It does kind of make me want to get a small sketchbook and just get sketches from different artists of Cosmonaut just to see
Oh my
what
God,
they would do.
LP.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna be commissioning Cosmonut next Comic-Con I go to.
I think that would be a fun one.
Yeah, in that run, it's Floria and Underwood are doing the penciler is Tony Daniel, so he's really doing the expressions in the Rebirth Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but I think also you got to give some credit to the inker too, and I don't usually say that in comics. But
No, yeah, Floria and Underwood are doing that. Yeah, they did a good job. And actually, you know what he reminds me of mostly? Like Minecraft. He's a Minecraft character.
Oh yeah,
I get that vibe.
see that.
I don't know what that is, but I will agree with you.
Mike is old.
I'm old. I build stuff.
He's like a creeper.
Beep boop.
All right. Does anyone have any last words on DC's misunderstood Cosmonut?
No, I think my last word is I had more words about this than I suspected.
You did, Josh. Sometimes I was actually going to do what you do sometimes. Like, I don't know this character and I don't like this character. I was just going to sit back and do that. Which you do every once in a while on DC.
I do, yeah. Sometimes I coast on characters. I'm going to look right into our YouTube audience and be like, yeah. Because sometimes I'm like, meh.
Meh. I'm glad you found something you can glom onto. And that's why you're a world-class broadcaster, my friend. Moving on. Mikey, what do you got at the front of the long box for us?
At the front of the long box, by the time this podcast drops, or if you are watching us on YouTube, we have a podcast called the Longbox Guys, which you can listen to on just about every platform available: Google Play, Apple Music, or whatever it's called now, iTunes, whatever, Stitcher, Verbal, Podbean, etc. Podbean is the host of every single episode of the Longbox Guys. So if you want to check out any of our back episodes, that's the place to go. Be warned, we get better as time goes along, and then we get worse, and then we get better because Stacy joined us. But with all that being said, if you are listening to us on our normal podcast, yes, we do have a YouTube channel. It's just search for the Longbox Guys, you'll find it. I wanted to talk about the MODOK TV show, which is dropping on Hulu this coming Friday, which for those listening, this will be this past Friday. So those of you in the future, I am so jealous of you because you've gotten to see MODOK. What does MODOK mean, boys and girls?
Murderous organism designed only for killing.
Murderous?
Maleficent?
Mechanized? Mechanical?
Murderous.
Mechanized.
I'm going to stick with my slur.
And I am so Patton Oswalt is playing MODOK, who is in the middle of getting divorced. And it features him and his family life. His soon-to-be ex-wife is dating Wonder Man, voiced by Nathan Fillion, which is just so perfect.
And he's appeared earlier as Wonder Man in the posters in Marvel movies. So
That's true.
This is canon.
Yeah,
This is canon.
Oh yeah, no one else can play Wonder Man now.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Jim Steranko is an old Wonder Man.
All right. I want to shit in everything you do and say, but that's a good call, Mike. Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the MODOK thing looks great. I actually had to reorder Hulu because I canceled it a while ago, and I'm like, fuck, I can't not see MODOK. God damn it.
I was about to, I was looking for it this week because I didn't realize it drops on Friday. And then I noticed I never watched Hellstrom.
I watched like one episode.
I watched as many as a human being could stand. I'm a
So-
couple ahead of Tommy, Josh. I wanted that to be good so bad. So bad.
Stacy, did you watch Hellstrom?
I didn't. I meant to, and then I just decided I didn't care.
I didn't watch any of it. Did it feature the psychosensitive metal of his nether trident?
Stop. We're not
We're not going into this again.
going into this again.
Go back and listen to the Son of Satan podcast if you would
Yeah.
like to relive
Do the rest
this.
of that shit, but don't.
If
I mean,
you
go back and
have,
listen to it.
if you
Before
have
that.
seen Hellstrom, or if you've seen MODOK and want to talk to us about it, the best way to get a hold of us is to reach over to Twitter and tweet us at the Longbox Guys, or you can email us and we will read your email on the air, no matter how filthy it is. Well, maybe,
We like 'em
maybe
filthy.
not.
No,
Wait.
Not if it's problematic.
Yeah, if it's problematic is one thing. Filthy, we
I mean,
don't
if it's-
mind.
problematic. I'm in IT, and we're gonna find out who you are, where you live, and we're gonna attribute every fucking word you say to us. So problematic. Make it as problematic as you want, but it's gonna be attributed to you, like at your address, with your license plate displayed on YouTube. But go ahead.
If
Go
it
ahead, do
starts
whatever
off
you
with something like we're going to storm your house the way me and my friends stormed the Capitol building, expect that's going to get reported.
But if it starts off with, "Dear Longbox Guys, I never thought something would happen like this would happen to me,"
Yeah.
and then you start talking to us about
Yeah.
a sexual encounter with a guy who claimed he was Hellstrom, we will definitely read that. It probably
Yeah.
won't be on YouTube because
And then I'll be taking my chances.
We're a lovely lady in MODOK cosplay.
Ooh.
So,
MODOK
yeah.
cosplay. Let's hope that happens.
Oh yeah.
you can email us at luckybastard@thelongboxguys.com, or you can go to our website, which has not been updated.
It has.
It
Fuck you.
has.
I updated it. As soon as you shat on me last week, I fucking updated it.
Holy crap! Our website has been updated. What?
Just barely. A little bit.
Does Stacy have a profile on our website?
Not yet. Stacy, send me your profile information. Go to the website. Try not to read too much, and send me your a bio and a little picture of yourself. And
Okay.
or I'll steal something I enjoy from Instagram and screw what you actually send me. And then I will put a bio up it.
Cool.
Stacy's a human female.
Well, Stacy has some awesome Jurassic Park shit on Instagram.
True,
And
true.
so maybe
True.
so maybe there's just a Jurassic Park page on our website now. Who knows? Anyway, carry on.
My
You
little
just should
website.
totally link her Instagram to our webpage, which
You
is
should
what?
Totally do that.
I can do that too.
What's your web or your Instagram?
Wait, Instagram, it's at Geeky Vixen.
Yeah.
You know what? You also should link our Patreon account, because every week that we do a podcast, and sometimes weeks we don't do a podcast, we actually put out a Geek Leak. It's a extra bonus podcast on Patreon for our Patreon backers for a mere $1 a month.
Shut your whore mouth. Are you saying for $1 a month, the price of a hand job in Hell's Kitchen, I could get another podcast every single week?
Where does Hell's Kitchen start in Manhattan? I'm just trying to. Asking for.
You're just price shopping is what you're doing. Just ask Eddie where to go and then go the opposite direction.
in the Javits Center. It's right
There
there.
you go.
So yes, we have a podcast called The Geek League where we talk about other geeky stuff we're doing other than comic books. And we've lately been on a kick called Dead or Alive, where we talk about old sitcoms and try to figure out if the stars of said sitcoms are dead or alive. If that
By we,
sounds
Mike means Mike.
if that sounds at all interesting to you, or if you're like, you know what, I want to do good in the world, because every dollar we get from in our Patreon account goes to the Elizabeth Peabody House Food Bank, which our good friend Tom runs. How many people do you guys feed every week?
On average, we're feeding between 60 and 80 families every single week. They get 3 big bags of food. We try to make it enough to last almost a week. And we do our very best to help as many families as we can. The need has never been greater, and we do thank everyone who chips in.
So yeah, for $1 a month, you can help support hungry families and get an extra podcast from us.
That's a bargain. Bargain at twice the price.
I-
Tommy, what do you got at the back of the long box?
I have a comic book called Wittershins by Kate Ashwin, published by Kate Ashwin. It's available on Comixology, and it is a delightful kind of all ages comic about this gentleman who was in wizard school and kind of flunked out. He had a natural talent for doing fake magic, or the kind of magic we have in the real world, and he sort of hooked up with a private investigator on the search for these King of Thieves that are trying to steal this mark of the King of Thieves, and it leads off to this adventure that was a pretty nice, like I said, all ages kind of comic, but that was entertaining and wholesome. It's a good sort of young Sherlock type vibe in the comic, and it was just a pleasant little read. It was like 68 pages long for the first issue, and it encompassed an entire storyline, and it was nice. It was a nice, quick storyline and good little comic.
Where did you find this comic?
I found it on Comixology, just rummaging through. So I
Cool.
was like, yeah, it sounds interesting.
You know what I was most impressed about? That you nailed the name of the writer and artist without any trouble, because usually you go for those European comics where it is impossible to pronounce those folks' names. So I'm duly impressed, sir.
Look, I am always trying to bring something obscure to this podcast. And if sometimes that is from the European community and from countries where I cannot pronounce any of the names, then so be it.
So be it indeed, my friend.
I like to read a lot of the not so mainstream comics and bring them to the forefront.
We respect that about you.
We do.
Mhm.
And in no way do I think you're just clanging your own bell there, buddy. Josh, that was a bit of a tangent. What do you got for a tangent for us, buddy?
So this week at my house, I had been getting quotes to build a new back patio, and in my weakened state, I've been taking flack. I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take on a little project. I'm just gonna like put a new concrete pad down myself, just pour it over the top, see what happens. And so I cleared out I had this like little layer over my concrete patio, these little like comfort pads that you put over. Took them all off, brushed everything down, and then decided to power wash the patio and prep. And I see as everything explodes while I power wash it, that that my original assumption of how shoddy it was actually way shoddier. I was actually surprised how much shoddier they had poured this pad than I had originally thought. And so I just wanted to hear other people's horror stories about either home projects or something you dug into just a little too deep. And they call it a mine. That's my back patio.
I got a great one. When I was living in Memphis, Tennessee, I commissioned, I don't want to say the name of the hardware store, to make me a patio. And they do it right in the store. They bring all the stuff out. And they brought all the stuff out. And instead of hand unloading the wood, they brought with them to my little yard a forklift. And I thought, that's not a lot of wood. You didn't really have to bring a forklift with you. They were bringing the forklift into the backyard. The forklift sank in the mud, hit the side of my house, and broke a window frame, and cracked a bit of the wall in. And I lost my mind because it was leaning against there, and I thought it was just going to go right through the wall. And I'm like, all right, listen to me. We're friends right now because this thing hasn't gone through the wall. But you got to get this thing off my house. I mean, it was very precarious. And I started taking pictures and filming what they were doing, and like, oh, you can't take pictures of that. I'm like, this is my house. You're damaging it right now. I wouldn't say another word to me about any of this if I were you. And these guys, it was like the Three Stooges trying to get this thing off my house. And long story very short, they finally get this thing off my house. They send a team out of good contractors to fix the window frame that they broke, fix the window, fix the wall, rebuttress the wall. And then they did my patio for free. And then they gave me $2,000 worth of credit because they tore up the yard. And I said, you know what, you guys with this thing, you got to fix the yard. Like, we'll just give you $2,000, do it yourself. So they gave me $2,000 worth of store credit. And they hand it to me. And I walk in the back and I buy a $10 shovel. And I put it on the thing. And the guy looked at me like, fuck you. And that's what it took to fix my lawn. I just kind of redid the whole thing. But it took me all day. It wasn't $10,000 worth, but it took me all day. And that's my horror story about someone trying to do something in my house.
So in my old house in Metairie, I had a pool, which was an above ground pool. It was fine when our good friend Andy lived there because Andy liked the pool and maintained it. Andy had unfortunately moved away, leaving me with the responsibility to take care of this pool, which I did not do. And due to lack of maintenance, it broke, and I was trying to get all of the water out of it, and I could not do it. Like the whole hose mechanism did not work at all. And I was like, you know what? I don't care about this pool. I started to try to nail holes into the side of the pool to get the water to come out. It did not work. Like I could not get this pool. Like I couldn't kill it. So I put it on Craigslist. I'm like, look, anybody who wants a pool can go to my house and I will give you the pool. You just have to disassemble it and take it away. And nobody took me up on that offer. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to get rid of this pool myself. I thought about it, Tom, but I was in a city, so I wasn't going to go shoot the pool, although I wanted to. So I spent several weekends trying to figure out how to disassemble a pool. And then New Orleans got evacuated because of Hurricane Katrina. And when I came back, the pool was destroyed. The only good thing to come out of Hurricane Katrina was the destruction of this pool that I hated and wanted to destroy. And the insurance company paid me for it.
The only guy who made out from Katrina, my good friend Mike Manning.
Yeah, it's called a battle axe. That's how you get rid of pools.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hated this pool.
Same way Josh got rid of that couch we had in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Battle axe.
Put that thing down a trash chute.
Trash it. We were like 15 floors up. We couldn't get rid of this couch. Josh give me a couple hours. He pulled out an axe. Yeah. And we just fed pieces down that trash chute for the rest of the night.
So satisfying.
So satisfying.
If you ever really want to just release some tension, man, just take a battle axe to something. It's it feels good.
It was not at all easy.
Yeah.
Tommy, you got one for us?
Yeah. So, last year I got 4 yards of dirt and was regrading part of my lawn, and I'll probably be doing more of that this year with the massive trees that I had taken down recently. But yeah, moving dirt, and also when we cleared an area for our garden, we turned over the soil, and there were tree roots that were probably about 4 inches in diameter that we had to cut out of the ground. So that was a bit more of a project than we were expecting.
You are not in the running for best story.
I'm sorry, it's no pool.
Stacey, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, it's hard to top the pool story. I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything that really turned out to be bigger than we expected. I think the worst thing I've ever done with home improvement is we were repainting our living room in our last house, and I stepped in the paint once. I fell and sat in it once. Like it was. By the end of that day, I was like, I'm done. I know we have more to do, but I'm gonna leave the house tomorrow. And I made my husband finish because I was like, I'm done. I'm making more of a mess than anything.
Yeah. I hate painting. My wife absolutely 100% does the painting. As a matter of fact, I'm leaving for Pensacola this weekend. She's painting the bedroom just because I'm out of the house and out of underfoot because I just don't like doing it.
Yeah,
It gets messy and sticky and smelly. I just don't like it. Tommy, I got a better story from you. We went to take all the shingles off his mom's roof, and his mom's got a little salt to her, a little salty. And she goes, Ma, because he was supposed to be there the day before. He's like,
No,
Mom,
my parents didn't tell me about this project
well,
until the project was going to begin. And
So
this was back when I was in college.
I get up on the roof with a snow shovel, and I'm shoveling off all these shingles. And Tommy goes, "See, it's going real fast." And I got twice the help. And his mom kind of looks over at me and goes, "Tommy, remember what your mom said?"
No.
Well, 5 times the help than for you.
Oh.
Like, holy shit!
Oh, wow.
Because she was still mad that he didn't come the day before.
Yeah, because they didn't tell me about this project, and I already had plans, and I'm like, no, I'm an adult now, and you need to tell me about these things beforehand. I will come tomorrow, and I will try to bring help.
How dare you, sir? Your mom was a saint. You should have just dropped everything when your mom said she needed something.
Yeah, you didn't have to live with her. If I didn't make those boundaries.
When I was living in a single room in a shared bathroom in a crappy redone hotel, your mom sent me some of the shittiest meals I've ever eaten, but she sent them.
And I was surprised you referred to Tom's mom as salty because she would not put salt on food.
Salt was the
only thing she put on food. She wouldn't put pepper on food.
She had no spices in her cabinet. It was crazy. She made me potatoes once. It was just potatoes, and she took a hammer or something too. No spice, no butter, no milk.
Hammered potatoes.
But I loved your mom. She always sent me food, and I'll always remember her for that. She was terrific. As terrible as it was terrific. All right, you guys ready for a quick game of 3 to 18?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to go with
What do we got?
regional drinks. Stacey, you might be out of this one if you've never had this drink. Snake bite, 3 to 18. Tommy. I'm sorry, not the snake bite, the bushwhacker. That's the one I was going for this week.
Bushwhacker.
Maybe I got the name wrong. What's that drink we get down in Pensacola? The bush something.
I don't get that. I get a
scotch.
chocolatey
frozen drink.
Yeah, I get a scotch.
Oh, you
scotch with ice on it?
Oh, the one at the hotel bar, you mean?
Yeah. It's a regional drink. It's not only in Pensacola, but Pensacola is known for it. It's called the bush snake or something. Bushwhacker.
Probably the bushwhacker.
Let's hold on.
Yeah,
it's the bushwhacker. Yeah.
It's hard for me to rate that because I've always been drunk when we've been getting those.
Oh, it's just Stacy. It's like a chocolate milkshake for drunks. It's delicious.
I'm gonna rate it a 16 because I like the effect it has on you, Tommy.
Thank you.
It is 4 ounces of coconut cream, 2 ounces of Kahlua, 1 ounce of black rum, 1 ounce of creme de coco, 4 ounces of half and half, 2 cups of ice, 1 scoop of vanilla ice cream, whipped cream, and maybe a little chocolate syrup.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 16 also. I've never paid for a bushwhacker, but I have had plenty of them. Thanks to, again, Pensacon, where people can win prizes by bringing us drinks when we do our game show.
It's terrible.
And we don't change the slides, guys. You should all be really good at this game by now, except for Josh's part, which is really hard. By the way, you had one of the math problems wrong. Lady found it.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the notes is definitely wrong.
Yeah.
I remember getting it wrong at one of the things and not correcting it, so I get it.
Lady cut it right off the bat. All right, so Josh, you had one. Did you like it? What was your 3 to 18? Too sweet for you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I'll give it a 12.
12? I'm going to give it a 16 myself because I love getting them. It's one of the things I look forward to when I go to Pensacon. Speaking of Pensacon, I'm going this weekend. A lot of the other guys just couldn't make it down this weekend. COVID restrictions and work restrictions just kind of weighing a little heavy on all of us. Next year, of course, we're going to be right back in the saddle up down there. Hopefully, Stacy will join us. Stacy, this is a great con. Hopefully, next year you come down with us.
I'm going to do my best.
We'd love to have you. It's so much
Do
fun.
you think they're gonna do it in February next year? Like they're gonna try to retrack it?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so very much. And Stacy, you got a toy for us?
I do. And it was funny that Josh brought up Jurassic Park because my figure this week is a Jurassic Park figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on to your butts. This is the Jurassic it's the line's called Jurassic World Amber Collection. It's a 6-inch scale line, and this one just came out. This is good old Sam Jackson. Got a waving hand. Hello. He also comes with his severed arm, which is
nice.
pretty gross.
That is nice.
And then probably one of my favorite toy accessories ever, this giant computer with the Jurassic Park map.
Nice.
Yeah. So
it comes with like a 386X.
Yeah. Look at the tower.
16
Look
mega
at that.
RAM. That thing's killing it.
It's a monitor on this thing.
Yeah.
So
They should have defended themselves with the monitors in those scenes.
yeah,
Those things are
picked that thing
indestructible.
up and chucked it at the Raptors. And
I remember my brother-in-law's house who ran a freaking he ran an ISP out of this old 4-story like clapboard mansion in North Attleboro, Massachusetts, and we were throwing monochrome monitors out of the 4th floor into a dumpster, and they were not breaking. Like I checked, like I went down and plugged a couple in, and they came right on.
They don't make them like that anymore.
They don't make them like
No,
that.
they
anymore.
don't.
90 pounds, completely indestructible, raptor killing monitors. They could have defended themselves just with those.
right.
Beautiful.
Raptor smashers, I think is what they call
Yeah.
them.
I think that's what it was.
We got to get Turok one of these things.
Yeah, he is the,
I think, oh my God, could you imagine if one of those was on the Mir space station and became sentient when it was crashing to Earth, and it would be Cosmomonitor?
Oh. Or if Turok just had a LCD on the end of an arrow.
Yeah.
I bet that.
If you guys are
comic book.
wondering who
Right, right.
Turok the dinosaur hunter is, go check out one of our old episodes.
Yeah.
But we also have Timmy, the Turok hunter, who's a dinosaur. His arch nemesis. Speaking of dinosaurs, real quick question. Did anyone remember a cartoon? I remember the video game, and I don't really remember the cartoon, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It was a comic book too.
It was
It was
comic-
Yeah.
comic book too. Do you guys
Yeah.
remember it very well?
And a toy line.
And
Yeah.
a toy line, okay.
Yeah.
I only really remember the video game, which I really liked. It was a great side scroller. Mike,
I
you're
only-
making a confused face. No recollection whatsoever.
I only knew it as a comic book. I did not know it was something else.
Okay.
I don't
I
remember
just want to.
the-
It came up this week, and I just kind of wanted to put that up there. How do you remember it, Josh?
I remember the comic. I don't remember seeing a cartoon. Turok
Yeah,
is
there
episode
was a
149.
cartoon. It was very short lived.
Yeah, it was not on for very long at all.
Yeah.
I really only remember the video game, which is really terrific.
Hmm.
All right. Moving on. I guess that brings us to plugs.
Yeah.
All right, we plugged Pentagon a little bit, but I'm going to keep going with that just because I'm running 4 different panels or things. We're doing horrible stereotypes. Fortunately for us, we got Tony Isabella on that panel, so that's going to make it terrific. Also doing a panel with me, Tony Isabella is going to be also doing stupid superheroes and why we love them. We're going to be talking about really dumb super villains that, for some reason or another, really kind of caught on in some way, or had a redemption arc, or just so ridiculous there's no redeeming them, like the house that bleeds dough. If that thing gets a story arc redemption, I'll be real surprised. We're also going to be doing nerd karaoke. We're going to be doing the very popular geek sing-along, and I think that's everything. It's 4. Yeah, that's about right.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? So if you're going in the Pensacola area, if you're going to Pentagon, look us up. We're going to be there in force. Well, no, we're not. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to try not to go nuts trying to do all this by myself. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Fine.
Sure.
Will it?
Hopefully.
Who else has got something to plug?
Well, I'd like
I'd
to
like-
thank Kirby. Whoa.
Whoa,
Pump the
go ahead,
brakes,
Mike.
man.
Back
I'd
it
like-
up, fellas. Come on. Hand signals.
I would like to thank Kirby Crackle for providing our geek rock music every week. You can check him out at kirbycracklemusic.com. And also, you know what? A shout out to Seth and the boys over at who'snextgaming.com. They had me on their last episode. I was dying because they were talking about how bad Adam Sandler movies have become, that they believe that there are bad people in the world who do penance by coming home and watching Adam Sandler movies,
Oh,
Forgive me, Father,
God.
cry of sins.
Yeah.
which
Right.
definitely makes me want to create a comic book character or just a character. I don't know what medium, but no matter what movie they sit down to watch, it's always Little Nicky.
Oof.
Oh, you picked one of the better
That's
ones,
tough.
man.
That's one of the better ones.
Oh, yes.
It's
Comparatively,
not bad.
What's the
comparatively,
one
It's not
where-
Jack and Jill, which is maybe the worst movie ever
Jack
made.
and Jill is so much worse. That is
All right, fine. I'll make it
unwatchable.
Jack and Jill. That's fine.
Yeah.
I've never seen Jack and Jill, so I will take
Call
your
it
word
whatever you
for it.
want.
I'm suddenly glad I haven't seen Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill, he plays himself and his sister.
Yeah.
Do they have a sex scene?
Little bit.
Wow.
know.
I was just trying to think of how it could get worse.
It's more of a comedy of errors kind of thing, meet up, but I don't know. I don't remember. I tried to watch the thing from my brain. And his remake of Mr. Pip Goes to Washington was even worse than that. That was terrible.
Yeah.
His remake of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington was total awful.
Did you say Mr. Pip? Like Dr. Pepper?
I said Mr. Pip,
Do you
but I
mean
meant,
Mr.
Mr.
Pip,
Deeds?
then it-
thank you, Mr. Deeds goes to Mr. Deeds. God, that was unwatchable drag.
Yep.
Even Winona Ryder couldn't save that piece of crap.
So if you want to bash Adam Sandler, go head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com, and just write crap about him on it. Because
Yeah, just fuck that guy.
he's one of our
But-
Patreon backers, so he'll definitely see it.
Oh
You
yeah,
guys
he'll
see
hear
Precious Gems? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Hit it out of the park. Precious Gems and Punch Drunk Love. Those are both brilliant Adam Sandler movies. So we can also point out his great stuff.
But we won't.
it. We won't.
I just did.
Whoa.
Did
Like,
you?
it's The Wedding Singer is his best movie. Drew Barrymore's adorable.
It's try. It might be
It's
his
true.
best movie. I really like Happy Gilmore.
Me too.
I love Billy Madison. It's so quotable. Like that's one that I
Really?
say
Do a
things.
quote.
If pee in your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
All right, you got one. That was actually a good quote.
All right.
What about you,
What?
sideburns? You want some of this milk?
Fine, you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Happy Gilmore's he's got the Bob Barker fight scene. Oh, you want some Bob?
Price is
Price is
wrong,
wrong,
Bob.
bitch.
Price is wrong, Bob. That was great stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, the 90s.
Go ahead, Tommy, do it.
I would like to plug geekorthodox.com.
KickOrthodox.com.
GeekOrthodox.com.
GeekOrthodox.com.
Hello, Timmy.
GeekOrthodox.com, purveyors of fine t-shirts and other geeky things such as stained glass prints, Johnny Skywalker rocks glasses, socks, baseball tees, baseball hats, you name it, they
And
got
this
it.
fucking t-shirt.
True Bastard Brand. Nice shirt, Josh.
Yeah,
This
nice one.
t-shirt.
Yeah, it's nice one on
Ooh,
YouTube.
nice one for
Like,
Tommy,
damn.
too. You got the Stark Industries. Good looking.
And happy birthday to Ian Leno also. By the time this podcast drops, it'll have been his birthday.
Good for him.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
I
Oh,
would
let's
also-
Geeky Vixen. You're on like 9 different podcasts. Drop a little knowledge on us. Name a couple.
I'm basically the if you're familiar with Hollywood Squares, I'm usually the center square on the podcast on the retronetwork.com. We just recorded one last week. We did another
You're Paul
retro.
Lind?
Yeah, or Jim J. Bullock
Oh,
or
Jim J.
Joan
Bullock.
Rivers.
Yeah.
Um,
Paulin, Joan, yeah. Can we do
yeah.
them all? God damn.
Yeah.
We just recorded one last week. That was another game night. We did Bracket Madness. We ranked the best action TV shows of all time.
Oh wait, okay. No, okay. I don't want to spoil the top one, but give me like 3, 4, 5.
Oh gosh. Trying to think. Magnum PI. I'm trying to. I can't remember the exact.
Okay, we'll
like,
go watch it.
3, 4, and
Yeah,
5. Yeah.
We'll go watch
Go-
it. I
go
have
listen
posted
to
I
it.
can't remember the name
I
of
will
it.
post a link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did. I did talk a lot about Highlander because it's one of my favorite action TV shows.
That didn't make number one.
It did not make number 1. No.
It should have been number one.
I know.
It could only
I
be
tried.
number one.
I tried. But yeah. Oh, we talked about Dukes of Hazzard. We talked about Airwolf. So if you're a
Oh.
fan of Ernest Borgnine
A little
and
bit.
Who
80s
isn't?
TV,
Who isn't?
right? Who
Yeah,
isn't?
who isn't?
Mike, what's my favorite Ernest Borgnine trivia?
I bet I could guess.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to guess?
Sure.
Yeah.
The Academy Award winner for Marnie.
Does it involve his wife?
Does not. Involves his military service.
Oh, well, never mind then.
It's changed over the years, but now he's the 7th most decorated veteran.
Oh, wow.
Well, is he still alive? At the time, he was a living veteran. I don't know if Ernest Borgnine is still alive.
Oh, save it.
Whoa,
Save
whoa,
it for the
save
McHale's
it.
Navy.
Next
Yeah.
week, we're going to be doing McHale's Navy.
Oh, and by the way, it was
Dead or
Hunter.
alive Airwolf.
Hunter had to be the number 1.
Nobody even mentioned Hunter.
Are you
actually.
bullshitting
Really?
me? Hunter.
Yeah. Nobody
Got
mentioned
Starsky and
the.
Hutch.
Nope. Nobody mentioned the Equalizer.
Dying a heap, Starsky and Hutch. Hunter.
Somebody did talk about Walker, Texas Ranger, and I almost left.
Oh my God. Have you seen the horrible dreck that is the new Walker, Texas Ranger?
God, no. My dad made me watch all the originals when I was younger. I'm not watching the new one. That's borderline child abuse.
I watched the pilot episode because I love the guy who plays Walker, Jared, whatever unpronounceable name he has.
Padalecki.
Sure. If you say so. And I was like, ooh, this is no Supernatural.
All right.
No, it isn't.
Well, I would like to thank, or plug, I should say, oldgatorgames.com. Friend of the podcast, John Larson, has retired from the military and has started his own gaming company. His first module, called Blood and the Brood Mother, is going to be dropping on Kickstarter soon. So we're going to try to have him on our podcast soon to talk about D&D and his new venture.
Well, that sounds great.
All
All right, I guess that kind of does it for us, guys. Any last minute things?
I got one more plug.
One more plug. Throw it.
I would like to plug Downwind Kites. If somebody tells you to go fly a kite, then go to Downwind Kites and buy your kite there.
It is
Damn right.
the perfect time of the year to buy a kite.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty windy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time.
All right, Mikey, what's this podcast like to you?
It's like Drunk History, but for comics.
Josh, your house. Still your sector.
Memorial Day, board games, my sector.
Boom. But we're double vaxxed. We're starting to get out of that sector. Tommy, any words of wisdom for us?
If you haven't gotten that shot, get that shot.
Get that shot.
Get double
Get
shot.
that shot. Take it 3 times. Who cares? Stace, what do you got to say to us?
I gotta say, related to getting your shot, a lot of places are saying you don't have to wear a mask, but don't feel like you gotta take that mask off if you're not comfortable.
That's right.
You still
Go at your
wanna-
own speed.
Yeah, you still want to protect yourself and others, even if you're vaccinated. Go ahead and do it.
And please, people, don't be the police in this. Don't shame other people. Remember, we're all in this together. You know, you don't have to yell at people if they're out and about not wearing a mask. You don't have to, put on your mask in a fit of rage. You don't have to do anything. Just be safe and try to be comfortable out there. It's going to be a weird couple of weeks. maybe even a weird rest of the year. But let's try to be nice to each other out there. And don't forget what I always say: don't diss what you hate, just promote what you love. You live longer. Thank you from the Longbox Guys.
Love you. Bye bye.
Love you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
My big fear now is someone's going to say to my wife,